Morning now, including parts of Cleveland County here in campus as well. And we are tracking that hail potential that we were telling you about earlier on our 4:30 newscast, as well as some damaging winds with this. So here's the storm. Right now, you can see we have from Tuttle down towards what would be the interstate there, the turnpike, as it heads down just to the what would be eastern parts of Grady County near the Blanchard area. That is continuing to push off towards the north and east here at about, I'd say, what was the speed on that, guys? About 55 miles? 45 to 55 miles per hour. So it's going to impact northern parts of Cleveland County. So if you live north of the Canadian River, Newcastle, Blanchard, we are watching for that potential for hail, as well as strong damaging winds. So we will put on velocity mode, just the regular base velocity mode, guys, if we can do that. We are seeing a little area of wind down towards the Blanchard area and some more enhanced winds over there towards Tuttle. That's what we are continuing to watch right now. And then you can see over the last couple of radar scans as we put this into motion, the more northeasterly trek at about 45 miles per hour as this is headed up towards the Moore and Norman area. So we will go back to, can we do hail detector to show kind of those areas where we're most concerned about hail? And you can see from Tuttle towards Blanchard, we're estimating, or radar is estimating, upwards of golf ball size hail. And if we put this into motion, it would show you that it's headed pretty much for the Norman area and towards Moore. So that's where we're going to see this hail core kind of right up the interstate as it has from Chickasha towards the Blanchard area. And then it will move towards the 9 highway corridor just south of Newcastle there. And then eventually as it heads closer towards the I-35 corridor here in moments. So let's pop on reflectivity real quick and kind of track out this hail and go street by street as it moves in. So this is regular reflectivity. The greens show light to possibly moderate rain. And then as we get toward the yellows and reds, we start to see a little uptick in precipitation intensity. And then once we start to see those pink, we have it set to where the pink starts to show up when hail is detected on the radar scan. So this area of pink right here just south of the Turner Turnpike, as well as that area just off towards the south of Tuttle, could be areas where we are seeing hail. It's kind of been a weird day for storm motion. It's been a weird day for storm presentation as well, but we are still, again, concerned about golf ball size hail and 70 mile per hour winds moving into the Norman area as we go with the severe thunderstorm warning that runs until 8:45 this evening. So a bunch of county roads in here just off towards the north and west of Blanchard. So from I-44 towards the Blanchard area, all this pink, that could be hail falling, again, upwards of golf ball size. We can see all right here that hail. And can we move north here just a tad bit on our radar, and then just off towards the south and west of Tuttle, that's where we, or south and east of Tuttle, excuse me, that's where we are seeing that hail. Let's zoom out, put this into motion, show you where this is headed, and then we'll get a look outside at our campus cam here on the university as this storm kind of rolls in. So let's put this into motion real quick. You can see that hail core pretty much moving due northeast, so that's going to bring it into the north sides of Norman. Again, it looks like it's possibly coming down in hail core size. Those pink returns are coming down in size on our radar, but we still are watching that threat, and there's a lot of hail that gets up lofted in these updrafts. They're very powerful. It's wind moving up, and that suspends the hail and takes it back up, and that's what freezes it, and then eventually it becomes too heavy for that updraft to sustain it, and then it has to fall to the ground. And it usually takes a while for that hail, all that hail that was up there, to at least fall to the ground. So that's why we again continue the severe thunderstorm warning until 8:45. I'm going to step off your screen. Can we take control room, that live shot of campus from our campus cam that we showed during our daily newscast? Here's the scene. We're looking off towards the north and pretty much due north, maybe a little bit off towards the northeast. And you just saw that lightning strike when we take it. There's another cloud-to-cloud lightning strike over the south oval, but a quiet scene here. There goes a VO scooter right in front of the seed sower. There's another one. So people are out and about on campus. They need to be aware of this storm moving in. Again, frequent lightning, so you'll want to be inside. The possibility of hail. So if you haven't moved your car to a garage, you have maybe about 5 minutes. But after that, I don't think you need to be out in this storm. And again, as this hail moves through upwards of golf ball size, you need to be away from west-facing windows. Please be on the east side of your house, because that will help kind of take that. And again, a live look over the Van Vliet over right now here on the campus of the University of Oklahoma. Let's go back to radar control room. I'm going to set back on your screen once we get that frequent lightning out there as well. Yes, Lauren?
So the hazard associated with this warning is up to golf ball size tail. So if anybody was wondering a size, it's going to be up to golf ball size tail and around 70 mile an hour wind gusts.
Okay, thank you for that. So 70-mile-per-hour winds and golf ball size hail, like Lauren mentioned, are going to be the main threats with that. And again, it's taking a track towards the south sides of Newcastle. It's going to be along the 9 highway corridor and then move into North Norman and the south sides of Moore, where we're watching that on radar. So can we take radar control room, please? And I will step back on your screen here as we go. And again, this is where we're watching right here, this area of pink. That's going to be where hail is showing up on radar towards the south and east of Tuttle and just off towards the northwest of Blanchard between I-44 and down towards the 9 highway corridor. And this is moving up towards Newcastle, and then eventually, if it continues to track northeast, right here where my finger is, north sides of Norman and the south sides of Moore. So we're talking what would be the possibility of Sooner Mall. Let's just storm track this part of the storm, the hail that we have on radar, and bring that storm track up towards the northeast at about whatever speed it's going, I believe about 45 to 50 miles per hour. So we'll put it up 45, and then we'll get some cities on here. So Riverwind Casino, the possibility of hail moving through there at about 8:57. It is 8:46 p.m. So we have 11 minutes before it rolls into Riverwind Casino. Sooner Mall, it's going to be there at about 8:58. So in about 12 minutes. Some other areas here, Max Westheimer Airport on the north side, about 9 p.m. Norman High School, just south of there, about 9:01. Here on OU, we're expecting the time of arrival of the hail. The rain and lightning will start first, but that hail is going to move in about 9:02 p.m. and then eventually further north and east towards the Lake Stanley Draper area here at about 9:12. Yes, guys, do we have something new from the National Weather Service?
Yes, so just some safety tips here. If you are already indoors, make sure you're closing any blinds, any windows. If hail hits any windows, it can break and glass can kind of go everywhere. So make sure that you're putting those blinds down. And if you are driving, make sure you try to stay in your vehicle, but pull off on the side of the road. Make sure you're not stopping under any underpasses or anything, because it can cause a lot of traffic and that's just dangerous altogether. But make sure you guys are staying safe.
Sam, did you have something to report from the...
Yes, NWS Norman is saying that the hail size is decreasing to $half size for that storm that is approaching Moore and Norman. So it appears to be slightly weakening at the moment, but again, we're going to continue to track that here.
Okay, thanks, Sam. So yes, like he mentioned, we are watching the weakening trend. Like I showed you, the hail size, or that pink on radar, is shrinking in size, or the amount of real estate it's taking up. So that is good news, but I still think we will have possibly at least quarter-size hail move through some part of Norman here, which quarter-size hail does do damage. The larger it gets, obviously, the more damage it can cause. But quarter-size hail is that threshold 1 inch in diameter for severe hail, and that's what we are going to continue to watch. So they just updated the severe thunderstorm warning. You see they trimmed off some of parts of Grady County, but still McLean, what would be eastern Grady, northern McLean, and much of Cleveland County included in this severe thunderstorm warning. And here's our hail detector again. We're kind of getting a little bit closer towards that likely category as we get deeper shades of pink there off towards the north of Blanchard and off towards the east of Tuttle along Rock Creek Road. So I'm going to step off your screen. Let's pop up radar again. And if you guys have any reports, just chime in and cut me off, and we will get those on the air, especially if they're pressing. And you can see, let's zoom in and go. Can we do the Barron button, Josh, please? I know it's not going to have a legend, but it will kind of estimate our hail size for us. And let's pixel query some of this. So the blue is going to be, I believe, about quarter-size hail, ping pong ball size hail, excuse me. This light blue is going to be quarter-size hail and about dime-size hail for the white area. And we are watching that one area, that little purple in there near ping pong ball size hail near the N in ping pong. Sam, did you have something new?
Yes, from Blanchard. In Blanchard right now, we just got a report of dime-sized hail actually making its way to the ground. So it's not just seeing this up in the clouds. We're actually getting it on the ground at the moment as well.
Okay, so yes, we have some ground truth. Thanks, Sam, for that. So you can see this white area around Blanchard's down there. We had that report of dime-size hail. There's the dime there, and then hen egg-size hail. A little area of some hen eggs, but mainly ping pong ball size as this is moving towards Norman. Let's put this into motion, and we'll kind of show the storm motion as it makes its way a little closer towards the Norman area. And you can see there were brighter colors. We had some red, a little bigger area of purple, but now that has come down in intensity. It's kind of hailing itself out. That's the good news, I would say. We might see an uptick in intensity. We have a lot of energy and instability in the atmosphere right now, and that is going to be favorable for at least sustained hail for a little bit. Again, ping pong ball size hail headed in the direction of Norman. I believe, Sam, do you have some new reports for us?
Yes, this is up in Newcastle. There is, I believe, an unconfirmed report of hail near 2 inches just west of Newcastle.
Okay, so 2 inches in diameter. That's going to be our hen egg, roughly size, a medium-sized hen egg. And you can see that product we were just looking at with the contours of blue and gray and white in there. That was kind of estimating our hail size. This is what our live radar product is. This is the regular reflectivity that you're used to seeing on radar, showing how intense the precipitation is that is falling. And you can see anywhere from the Newcastle area down towards would be 9 Highway as it rolls over towards Norman as well. That's where we are watching for that potential for hail right now. And we have another area of hail or brighter returns on velocity that could be falling in the form of hail. Let's transition from our hail threat to look at what the wind is doing right now. So if we can pop on velocity real quick, and we will kind of get an enhanced area of wind that might be associated with all that hail coming down. I don't see too big of a area of wind possibly. Can we pixel query some of this just to see what is going like here just north of Cole? About 32-mile-per-hour winds. That still will cause an outflow from the thunderstorm, but nothing in the way of damage criteria. We look upwards of 60+ miles per hour for strong straight line winds that will cause damage. But again, 70-mile-per-hour winds and ping pong ball size hail is what this severe thunderstorm warning continues until 8:45. Let's pop up reflectivity mode and get a look at that, and you can see again we have that possibility of hail anywhere we see the pink reflectivity returns up towards the Tuttle area, or east of Tuttle I should say. It's getting closer to Newcastle and closer to the Canadian River as we speak in parts of northern Grady and far western parts of Cleveland County, in parts of what would be central McLean County as well, down towards the Newcastle area. And then this is going to be Highway 9 as it scoots east towards I-35, briefly meets up with it, and then scoots further east as we head down towards the Lake Thunderbird area. Riverwind Casino is going to be right there at I-35 and 9 Highway near Love's Travel Stop. And we have, again, Newcastle, and 9 Highway continues down towards the Blanchard area and right in there. So that's what we are watching right now. And you can see we have that area of what would be more hail just off towards the north and west of Newcastle. So let's zoom out. Put on our hail detector one more time, and then do we have any new reports, Sam? Yes?
Yes, the same severe thunderstorm warning we've been monitoring this whole time has been updated now to include a golf ball sized hail. So it appears to be maybe recycling and might be pulling in some cleaner air as it continues to move towards the northeast.
Okay, so we have that possible uptick in hail. Our hail detector still showing near the Blanchard area, right just south of Newcastle at 9 Highway there as it makes its way down towards Blanchard, just off towards the west of Riverwind Casino there, north and west of Goldsby, that area of hail. Can we circle that on our screen for you? And that's what we are watching right now. And again, that track, you can kind of see how it moves from Blanchard kind of up 9 Highway, and then if it continues that northeasterly trek right over the Norman area is where we're going to be expecting that here soon. Lauren, go ahead.
We're getting some reports of hail on campus, on the west side of campus. We're seeing some hail.
Okay, what do we have size on that yet?
We do not have size just yet. We are just seeing hail on the west side of campus.
Okay, so we are seeing possibly some hail starting to be mixed in on the west side of campus here. We see the live update on our screen. Sooner Mall is going to be there. OU, that's right over Gaylord Family, Oklahoma Memorial Stadium. And we are watching the Riverwind Casino as well, and Max Westheimer Airport on the north sides of Norman up towards University North Park. That's where we're watching some heavy rain and possibly hail. Let's zoom out and see if we have velocity, because I'm guessing some of this hail might be being thrown up and out over campus. We have winds, I would say, out of the south west moving through. So radar is going to be up here. This is how we read this velocity scan. Radar's up here. Here's our radar site. You see that little hole right there. So all the green is headed towards radar and all the red is headed away. So it measures wind speed. That gives us our speed value that we popped on just minutes ago, and then our direction. So this is headed that way, and we have the hail there just around the Newcastle area. So that wind could be like pulling it out of the storm and dropping it on the west sides of campus. Lauren.
Yes, we just got an update. It is smaller than pea size at the moment, so not enough to damage any vehicles at the moment.
Okay, thanks, Lauren, for that. So again, severe thunderstorm warning continuing right now, and we are watching for that hail potential. Anywhere we see pink on radar, you can see any pinks. That's where we're going to be watching for hail, and we're really zoning in on this area right here, just off towards the south of Newcastle along the 9 highway corridor. It's moving northeast. So again, moving going to be through Sooner Mall, Riverwind Casino, the Norman area, OU as well. I think we're going to at least see some quarter-size hail, if not bigger. And I think we do have our live reporter out in the field on the stadium parking garage right now. OU Nightly's Drake Foley is out there live reporting conditions for us. Drake, what's it look like out there?
All right, so right now, as you can see, we are seeing a light show here from the Ass Parking Garage, level 5, right off of Ass Avenue. And right now, we are starting to see that storm roll in from the west, bringing some rain. Some last-minute people here parking, trying to escape from the hail that could be on the way. We're seeing reports of quarter-sized hail, and there's people watching around here right now. The rain's starting to pick up, and we're starting to feel a bit of a breeze. As you can see, those lightning strobing behind me as that storm starts to move to east-southeast and moving towards parts of northern Norman, and some parts of campus could see quarter-sized hail.
Thanks, Drake, for that report. And here's the live look over our campus cam. So this is a little different vantage point. You can see the glistening South Oval, the Van Vliet Oval here on the campus of the University of Oklahoma. And we have a walker out there just on Lindsay Street in the foreground at the bottom of your screen. But a live look over the Van Vliet Oval right now. And rain is falling, and I think we're going to see some hail possibly on this camera here in moments. We saw it kind of uptick in intensity, I think, here over the last couple radar scans. We'll see if it holds its strength by the time it gets to Norman, but there's a lot of energy and instability in the atmosphere for this thing to continue at least a little bit further north of the I-35 corridor. So let's go to radar, and then guys, if you have anything, just butt in and any new reports, because I know there's a lot of people that live in the Norman area, in the Moore area, over towards Newcastle, that are very weather aware. We're weather aware here in central Oklahoma very frequently, and that leads to a lot of social media reports. So we'll get a lot of ground confirmation of what is really going on here in a few minutes on Twitter, on Facebook, on Instagram. People love to share on social media. Lauren, I think we have a report from you. Go ahead, and I will step off screen to monitor some more information coming in.
Yes, so we are seeing that there is a lot of traffic on these roadways currently. So make sure you guys are trying to get safely off the road. Do not be in the middle of a roadway and trying to drive through these storms. It can be very dangerous. It can crack windshields. We are seeing some golf ball sized hail at the moment. It's not quite on campus just yet. We've only really seen some pea-sized hail on the west side of campus, but that pink area right there is kind of headed straight for OU right now. It's about 4.2 miles away currently. But again, do not be trying to drive on these roadways in the middle of this storm. Try to get under any parking garage or anything like that. Really, it's really dangerous to try to be out on these roadways while trying to drive in these storms.
Yeah, and Lord, to bounce off of that, we have about half-inch hail reported south OKC at the intersection of Western and 134th. So Westmore currently has about half an inch sized hail. And so if we back up a little bit, you can see on radar that hail core just about to enter West Norman. So we could probably see some of that here in campus in a few minutes if we aren't already.
Okay, thanks, Sam, for that report. Let's do something a little different here. I'm going to come on your screen and let's pop on correlation coefficient, guys. And I think that's going to kind of show us where the hail is. So you see this lowered reflectivity. So it shows us precip all the same color. That's kind of what we're looking. We call it our debris detector because we usually look for tornadoes with this, but we're kind of using it for hail because it will present a little differently. And you can see these lowered values as we get down towards the orange and the green, this area right here. So let's circle all of this, Josh, if you can for me, and then let's pop on reflectivity or one of our hail products, and I think it's going to line up pretty nicely here, is what I'm going to be expecting. Let's go to regular reflectivity, right? Yep, right over the areas of pink that we're seeing. So correlation coefficient, good for detecting tornadoes and good for detecting hail today. That's our main threat. The tornado threat very low today. That's what we weren't expecting, many tornadoes, and we haven't saw any across the state of Oklahoma, and that's threat is kind of near zero and in the back of our minds. Our main threat is going to be hail. This area that we just circled, headed towards OU and Norman. This radar scan was taken at about 9 p.m. We'll probably get a live update here in moments, and we're going to see it inch closer towards the OU campus, closer to North Campus, North Norman, as well as the south sides of Norman. So I'm guessing here in a moment, our live crews out in the field, our OU nightly students across the Norman area that live here and go to school at the University of Oklahoma will be flooding in images to us as well. And I'm guessing social media is going to be flooded with these hail images as it gets a little bit closer. I believe we still have the tag for golf ball size hail with this storm, correct me if I'm wrong, but this is where radar is picking up again that intensity of hail right off towards West Main Street as we get a little bit closer to the Canadian River out there and near Sooner Mall. So Sooner Mall is going to be right there. As we go here towards 36th Avenue as well as Main Street. We have Lindsay Street going to be right down here. It kind of curls up by a white picket fence and then up towards the Sooner Malls area near Sam's Club, as well as there's a Cane's over there. We also have, again, that area of hail just south of Robinson near West Main Street, down towards Riverwind Casino as well. Let's go back to our debris detector. It's really going to be our hail detector right now and get that area of most concern. So anywhere we see the greens mixing in, let's kind of show that possibly, and then let's pop on our hail detector button right afterwards and see if we can see anything with that. So Josh is going to circle that, and then we will see this on campus here in moments. So that's where we're estimating hail detector a little bit further south. Let's pop up on the Barron button. It's going to show as regular radar, but this, I think, lags a little bit behind. This purple shade right here, that's going to be ping pong ball size, or hen egg size hail, excuse me. The blue wrapped around that, that's going to be our ping pong ball size hail. And then the quarter size hail is going to be that light blue shade, and the white shade could be dime size hail. So I'm guessing we're getting reports of small hail on campus up towards the Moore area as well. And if we have control room, any photos or videos that we're getting in and that we are able to take, I would love to take those and show kind of what is happening. And whenever we get that, just let me know, and we will show that to our viewers and kind of show what's happened and that there's some ground truth to this. Sam has a report. Sam, go ahead, and I think we'll take Campus Cam in the meantime.
Yeah, I just wanted to piggyback off what you just said. We are starting to have hail reports from the Ave. No size or anything on that, but we do have reports of hail starting towards the Ave, so right about time to hit campus. So if you're not into shelter or some sturdy building, it's definitely time to do that. You're basically out of time.
Yes, we just saw a perfect lightning strike while he was talking there on Campus Cam. Thanks, Sam, for that report. So we're getting reports of hail in South Norman now. We got reports on the west side of Norman. Only a matter of time before it makes it here to the heart of Norman, which is going to be OU and up towards Main Street there in downtown Norman. And you can see the pinks from Max Westheimer Airport all the way down to the 9 Highway I-35 interchange there on the south, what would be west sides of Norman. And this is going to be something where you want to be inside. That was a good point that Sam mentioned. You will want to be inside when this hail starts to fall, which it's already probably starting to fall here in what would be the heart of Norman. And if we have Drake still out there, we might have brought him inside for safety reasons, but if we do have him or established connection with Drake and he has any reports of hail starting to fall, we'd love to take that control room if we can, but we'll stick with radar for now. And you can see, again, along the I-35 corridor, some hail reports mixing in. And guys, just jump in if you have anything new to report from social media, the National Weather Service, or anything. When I'm talking about guys, I'm talking about our meteorologists off screen, Sam Patterson, Josh Duncan, and Lauren Brand. They're here assisting off screen. You've heard some of their voices with our coverage, and we thank them for monitoring multiple things in today's digital age, from social media to chatting with our National Weather Service partners and everything in between. We have to kind of cover all bases to get the most accurate information to you. So again, this is debris detector, usually good for detecting tornado debris. We're using it for hail today because of the way this hail is so big and not presenting on radar very well. And you can see anywhere we start to see from this precip area, that's going to be regular rain falling near West Robinson, kind of around towards Riverwind Casino, down south towards the Canadian River. But as we go down this scale a little bit closer to where it says debris, that's going to be our hail or our larger hail returns in there. And you can see we have that area circled again from Max Westheimer Airport, University North Park along I-35 all the way down to just north of Riverwind Casino, right there along the river. So let's pop on reflectivity for me, and you can see any pinks, that's really going to be where that hail is as it moves through. And again, guys, if we have any reports from campus, that would be great to pass along. I know we're monitoring a lot of information over there, but just chime in whenever you have them, and we will continue to move this north and east. So let's zoom out. I know Norman is a big city, the third largest city in Oklahoma, but we are watching some more storms. We have a storm on the north side of the Oklahoma City metro up towards the Edmond area, just north of the villages, and we have this storm continuing to move over the radar site, so we're going to get some bad radar data here in moments as this thing moves over top, but it's continuing, going to be near I-40 and I-240 here in a little bit. Now, if I step off the screen, it's going to pass, looks like right over Shawnee. We'll get some rain and storms here in moments. So I think we've established connection with Drake, so let's check back in with OU Nightly's Drake Foley, who's live outside on campus reporting for us. Drake, what's it like out there?
All right, so right now, as you can see, we're still at the Ask parking garage at level 5, but the rain has started to pick up here, and we're starting to get gustier winds. It's starting to become more of a cold rain. Not much hail at all, just a few pea-sized droplets here in the garage. But other than that, right now, all we're starting to get is some heavy rain as that storm starts to pass through parts of Norman here on campus. We have a few watchers and a couple people moving their cars in, still hoping to stay out of that hail for the night. Back to you guys in the studio.
Thank you for that, Drake. So right now we are looking at your current radar. I just actually stepped outside. I didn't see any hail that was really big at all. If anything, it was really just going to be about pea-sized. But right now we're looking at this storm that's right over OU and right over Norman. We're looking at right around Lindsay Street, Main Street, where OU is. No more really pinks, anything just yet. The storm's kind of dying down just a little bit, but let's look at that hail detector. That's kind of going north of Norman right now. So Norman should be good right now in terms of hail. I don't know if you guys at the desk have been getting any other reports specifically here on campus, but it looks like from our hail detector, that's really going to be in areas north of Norman and all the way up towards Moore as well. Kind of already passed east of I-35. So if you're on I-35 right now, you're probably just getting hit with some rain right now. But yeah, let's pull up that live radar right now. But the heaviest bands of rain look like they're kind of headed through Norman right now. If we could zoom into that just a little bit. Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't look like we're seeing any more pinks, really, just really some heavy rain. We could see a little bit of grapple or some pea-sized hail with that, but nothing really too big anymore. But definitely make sure you're staying inside. We are still seeing a little bit of lightning out there as well, so make sure you're staying inside. Try not to drive on any of the highways just yet. This rain could make it really hard to see. But like I said, we're not really seeing any of the hail anymore. It's kind of dissipated just a little bit. But in terms of over by Sooner Mall, they might start to see that lighten up a little bit. We are getting some lightning strikes around campus. We can still see some lightning strikes outside of the storms as well, up to 50 miles away, so make sure you are staying aware of that too. Lightning is very dangerous, but we are just kind of seeing some cloud-to-cloud lightning for right now. But if we could zoom back out just a little bit.
And Lauren?
Yes. What's up?
So we have an update from the National Weather Service.
Yes.
They have now canceled this severe thunderstorm warning. We're just waiting for the yellow flashing box to disappear from your screen here. But as you've been mentioning, the pink's no longer showing up on the radar. So this storm it appears to have dropped below severe limits. So maybe just some smaller hail and heavy rainfall going on right now.
Yes, thank you for that, Josh. Yeah, so this box right now is kind of showing the severe warning, but that is dropped currently. So not really any severe warnings right now, but that doesn't mean that we can't still see some heavy rain with this and maybe some hail later on. But as for right now, this has been dropped, so no threatening things with that right now. That is going to start moving kind of out of the Norman area and out of campus here in just a little bit. We kind of start to see that rain lighten up just a little bit. If we could go to that hail detector too to see, there shouldn't be anything there. Yep, we're not really seeing anything there. It's kind of all dissipated really. Even all the way up when I was talking about I-35, that it's really dissipated there. We could go back to reflectivity. Yeah, so we should just really be seeing that heavy rain right now. You could start going wherever you need to go. That severe thunderstorm has been dropped, but just be careful where you're driving on the roads. Hydroplaning is still a very prevalent issue with this, with all of that rain coming down on these roadways, and flooding is still very much an issue with these storms as well. We are still seeing some lightning there. If you guys have anything else to add, I don't know if we're seeing any more reports other than that. I don't think that we are. We've had some reports of pea-sized hail earlier, but I don't think we saw really anything other than that here on campus specifically. But that rain is going to start exiting the area. OU, you're still kind of seeing some of that heavier bands of rain right now, but we should be out of that. Oh, there we go. We should be out of that here just in a second. But we could still see some flash flooding even after this has exited the area, so make sure you're careful. Don't be driving through these bigger puddles or anything like that because you don't know how deep it is, and you definitely don't want to damage your car or anything like that. So please make sure you're not driving through any of these deep puddles or anything like that. But we should start to see it let up here in just a little bit. I'm not sure if that storm up to the north of us is still has a severe thunderstorm warning on that either. Did we get any reports for that one?
Last report about 7 minutes ago that they did continue that severe thunderstorm warning for 1.5-inch hail, 60-mile-per-hour winds. I have not gotten any updates in the last 10 or so minutes about that. It did say it was observed that we had the 1.5-inch hail, 60-mile-per-hour winds. So as of 10 minutes ago, that storm is still severe status. We'll see if it drops out of there anytime soon. Likely as we pass over I-35, we're a little more stable. So I wouldn't be surprised to see that decay and possibly those warnings to get lifted as well.
Okay, thank you for that, Sam. Yeah, these are kind of starting.
Which they actually just did cancel it at this moment. So.
Okay, awesome. So they did end up canceling this. We still see these boxes on your screen right now, but these have been dissipated. These warnings are no longer in effect, but they're still on our screen. That doesn't necessarily mean that these storms are completely going away. Kind of taking the overall view here. We have some storms up towards Miami, some severe storms out there. But like I said, these storms, they have dropped these warnings. We are seeing some more storms kind of down here. We see that big old band of storms. But we should start to see those kind of exit the area. We don't really have anything initiated out west of us, so there shouldn't really be anything coming in past this. But if you guys have anything else to add, other reports that we've seen or anything like that, but for so far right now, we've only really seen pea-sized hail. But we have some reports from Drake out at the garage. Drake, can you tell us what you're seeing out there?
All right, so right behind me, you can see a few of the students who are standing by taking refuge in the garage. As the storm starts to pass by, they are taking a look at the storm, getting some photos, getting some video. They're having a good time out here watching the storms pass by safely as they are taking shelter. And we'll continue to watch to see if there's any more storm development. But as of right now, it looks like campus is starting to get the last of the bit of rain for now. Back to you guys in the studio.
All right, thank you so much for that, Drake. So right now, this is actually 24-hour precipitation that has actually fallen. So Josh is actually putting that on for us right now. So we've seen about 3 inches fall here in Norman alone, and we kind of see all these bands all the way up till El Reno. So we've seen about 3 inches of rain, 2.1 around the Norman or OU area, I should say. So that is a lot of rain in this kind of short amount of time. So this is why flooding has been such an issue. There's not really great drainage here in Norman, especially here on OU. So like I said, please make sure that you're not driving through these larger puddles because you don't know how deep that they are. But like I said, this has been over a 24-hour period. So this hasn't just been from this storm alone. We could still see some rain falling after this. But as for right now, this is your live radar. That is starting to move out of the area. These warning boxes have been canceled. There is no more severe thunderstorm warning for this storm as of yet. Yeah, look at that hail detector. We have a little bit of hail coming back on that hail detector. I don't know if we have any reports from that specifically, but my guess would be about pea-sized hail, nothing really bigger than that. And that's kind of moving over towards pink. Yeah, it's moving over towards pink. Did they just reissue that?
Yeah, they just issued for that hail that you're seeing on radar right now. So.
Okay, so they did just reissue that severe thunderstorm warning for that hail specifically. What does it say in that text
60 mile per hour
box?
wind gust, quarter-sized hail, moving east at 40 miles per hour.
Okay, so it's not moving too fast. We're moving around 40 miles an hour. This could just be recycling. We could be seeing maybe a little bit of bigger hail from this storm, but that's going to continue going right over 40 towards the Shawnee area, up to McLeod, that area as well. It's just going to keep kind of going in that general direction. I don't know if we have any time frames, if we could lay that out, see how long that's going to till we get out there. So Dale, we have about till 9:31 till that storm gets to you. Hazeldale about 9:37, Shawnee about 9:41. So you still have a little bit of ways to go because it's only moving around 40 miles an hour. But with this storm moving so slow as well, this allows for that immense amount of rainfall and that flooding as well, which is why this was kind of a risk that we were talking about earlier in the day. But flooding is going to be kind of a risk as we move towards eastern Oklahoma. These storms can dump a lot of rain along with this. So towards the eastern parts of the state, that's what's going to be kind of that primary threat. Along with that is all of that flooding out there as well. I don't think that they've reissued that storm up towards Edmond, but they have reissued that storm out going towards Shawnee. Do you guys have anything else so far? Nope. Okay. So yeah, we don't really have that much big hail. The radar site's kind of in the way of where that hail could be. If we could pull up that hail detector back up again. Yep. So we have a little bit more hail in the area. Again, this is why they've reissued this warning, and that's going to be going towards Johnson, OBU, Shawnee, McLeod. We're zooming in just a little bit there. Just south of Tinker Air Force Base, Norman should be okay. That is well past Norman and the OU campus, so you guys should be good. May not be good in terms of rain just yet, but in terms of that hail, you guys should be okay. That does look like it is getting just a little bit bigger. I don't think that we have any reports from social media or anything just yet in terms of how big this hail has been, but this is going to keep tracking eastward. And it's going to go again towards OBU, Shawnee, might go over Pink, but it might just miss you going just a little bit north. if you guys have anything else. Yep, Josh.
Yeah, so Lauren was talking about how you couldn't really see a lot of the pink on the radar, even though they have reissued this warning. That's partly because the radar site is actually right here, and the storm is literally right on top of the radar. So it's pouring down on the radar site, and that kind of makes it hard to detect some of the hail that might be going on. But now as we get further away from the site, it'll start showing a little bit more pink.
Exactly. Thank you for that, Josh. So you can kind of start to see that pink right there just a little bit, but this is kind of that area that Josh is pointing out where that radar site is. So there's kind of a hole right there. We can't really see what's going on right there because that's where the radar site is, but that hail has kind of passed over top of it, so we can see it from the other side there. So we do have some hail on the other side of that. Again, that's not really in the Norman area. It's making its way out there, and the rain looks like behind it is calming down just a little bit south of it. Actually, can we go back north? I think we saw a little bit more pink there. Yeah, right here. Yeah, we do have a little bit of pink popping up there as well, so there could be some hail up there as well. But kind of zooming in right here, Stella 49th Street, and I believe that's South Luther Road. That's kind of where we're seeing that hail right now. I don't think that we've gotten any reports of hail size just yet. It could be around pea-sized hail. It could be getting just a little bit bigger because we kind of saw it fall apart a little bit, and it's kind of regaining strength right now. So that hail could be definitely getting bigger. It is moving eastward. There doesn't seem to be anything behind it just yet. But up here, this is actually, they just reissued this box, it looks like. No? Okay. All right, well, we do have some hail right here too, and I'm getting that we also have a view of some lightning right now as well. Yeah, so this is from Ass Parking Garage. This is cloud to ground lightning. This is a beautiful shot of that. We are still seeing some cloud to ground lightning, so again, please make sure you guys are staying inside. Lightning can last a long time afterwards, even after a storm has moved out of the area. But this is cloud to ground lightning at the Asp parking lot. Again, you need to make sure you are staying inside. All right, you guys have anything else so far?
We had a delayed report out of Piedmont and the Northwest Metro of some quarter-size hail, but that storm is now, I believe, long gone from that area. So just a little bit of a delayed report from the Northwest Metro.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much for that, Josh. So yeah, that storm, that box has been officially dropped from that storm. And down here, we are still tracking a little bit of hail. Again, Norman, you are in the clear right now. We're not really seeing anything down here. We are seeing a little bit more hail here. It could definitely be getting bigger, but I don't think that we really have anything too big right now, but you can kind of see it dissipate, and it is regaining strength right now. But I'm actually going to toss it back over to Sam Patterson. Sam, what do you got?
Thank you, Lauren. Yeah, we don't have a whole lot going on in Norman now. Thankfully, we're actually having the storm start to move away from us. Of course, we probably lost a few frames here in the middle as the storm went over the radar site, where we couldn't actually see the hail, as you can see, as it's moving further towards the east. It looks to be either re-intensifying or increasing. Again, most likely, we probably just lost that as it headed further east right over the radar site. Thankfully, in Norman, though, we are starting to wound down the evening. You can see on reflectivity, we're basically completely out of it now. Again, this box is still here. They did cancel this severe thunderstorm warning. Now, the one further towards the northeast that is heading toward, I would say, about the Shawnee area, this is reissued, and this is live. Obviously, you can start to see some of that purple on reflectivity with the hail swath. Josh, could we pull up that hail swath detector, please? Thank you. Yes. So there it is right there, stretching a pretty good distance, really, from pink all the way up towards Tinker Air Force Base, where that hail core is at right now. About a 12-mile stretch, really. So a lot of hail there could be dropping. It doesn't look to be gigantic, but I hear that one of our reporters, Taylor, is live in one of the parking garages. So, Taylor, what do you got for us?
Yeah, that is right, Sam. The parking garage is starting to empty out, and these weather spotters that were behind us are also starting to leave and go back home as these storms are moving off to the north and east. Now, this does not mean that Oklahoma is out of the clear yet. There is still a chance for hail in the eastern parts of the state. But those of us on campus were lucky and we didn't get to see any of that hail here, which is a great news for everyone here on campus. Back to you guys at the studio.
Thank you, Taylor. Yeah, again in Norman right now, thankfully the storms are moving out. You can see over the last hour or so, really when we had the big hitters come right through Norman, probably dropped some hail. I don't know if we have any official reports of what dropped in Norman. An inch to an inch and a half dropped up in Piedmont, Oklahoma, though. We had 2 inches out towards Newcastle earlier, and you can see that we did have the severe thunderstorm warning up towards Edmond. That cell looks to be dying, or at least decaying at the moment. I believe we had one final cell up in way out in northeast Oklahoma up towards the Miami area, if I'm right. I don't know exactly what we have on this. I believe pretty much probably the same thing as we're seeing 60, 70 mile per hour winds, 1 to 2 inch hail. There it is right there. You can see a pretty big hail swath earlier, but as that storm's moved towards the southeast, obviously it has decayed a little bit. Can we pick up hail detector on that, or is it too far out of our range, Josh?
Yeah, this will be the Tulsa radar. Let me switch that over to INX. There's a little
tiny bit. So I will say reflectivity is much more impressive. Probably what was happening is we were picking that up from the Norman radar station. So we were going way up in the cloud base where the hail was still flying up around up there. So fortunately, probably nothing coming down toward the ground at the moment, but again, still producing hail up in northeast Oklahoma. If now we come back to central Oklahoma towards the Norman OKC area, you see still that hail core about 12 miles from north to south. With that hail swath, there's that big old hail core heading towards Shawnee. So again, winding stuff down here in Norman for us tonight. But thankfully here in Norman, we don't have anything going on for the moment. Now I'm going to throw you back over to Coy Taylor for an update on what's going on.
Yeah, thanks, Sam. We are continuing to get reports in right now from our viewers and our students outside. So let's take those control room, some of the stuff that rolled through Norman, just scrolling social media. This is going to be a live look from our stadium parking garage. It's called the Apps Parking Garage. We're looking towards Gaylord Hall. You see on the left side of your screen that little illumination dome right there. That's Gaylord Hall. That's where we're broadcasting from now. And this was a little bit earlier as that storm was rolling in. You see the frequent lightning strikes out there and the heavy rain. We had some localized flooding on campus. You know, the streets on campus, they flood. And whenever we're ready to take the next video, we can, control room. But you know, any little bit of rain here in Norman starts to flood. So this is from 12th Avenue and Lindsay Street here in Norman. So you can see we're looking, and a few lightning strikes, frequent rain. Scrolling through social media, we got reports of quarter-size hail in the South Oklahoma City Moore area. Other reports of possibly upwards of dime-sized hail around the Moore area as well. I don't know if we got any official reports out of Norman, but I think most of the hail was concentrated up there. But if you have any videos, please send them in. Tag OU Nightly on social media. And here's another view of the heavy rain and frequent lightning. You can see the water running down the curb there as one of the Embark buses comes by. And that was, again, moments ago here on campus. But that's kind of the scene that we saw. Heavy rain on campus, some hail up north in the more southwest Oklahoma City area. And I think we're starting to see things quiet down on campus. Sam, back to you.
Yes, thank you, Coy. Again, looking at the live radar, you can see a couple areas of reflectivity, still some pretty big areas of hail. Of course, those are, again, towards the east of campus. So fortunately, nothing we should have to deal with through the rest of the night. We should really start to clear up and probably have a pretty clear night throughout the rest of us. Maybe a little bit of hail up towards McLeod as well. I believe if we head over to this hail SWAT detector, most of it is on that southern storm exactly. Josh, could we pick up how long that is right now? Perfect. So if you remember a few minutes ago, this was about 12 miles north to south. It's probably starting to confine and start to come together a little bit more intensely as there's the new frame right there. I would assume that's probably 4 to 5 miles. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, about 5 miles if I had to guess, north to south. So again, that's probably starting to congeal, probably become a little more intense. I would assume hail will start to drop from this soon if these hailstones start getting stuck together as we move throughout the evening. But again, back towards campus, thankfully, our night's basically over. maybe a little bit of rain for a little bit longer. We really should start to clear up, should have a pretty nice rest of our evening. We'll have to see what happens with these storms once light sheds on them. Hopefully no damage will be reported, no significant damage as well. Again, our most main threat tonight was that hail and wind damage threat. So thankfully here in Norman, our night is just about over. It's been a pretty eventful night for the most part. Lots of hail, lots of wind damage. Thankfully, we didn't have to deal with any tornadoes either. But again, as we head further out towards the next few hours, we should start to clear up and have a pretty nice rest of our evening. Thank you for joining us again for this live severe weather coverage. Excuse me. We were going to leave you with the live shot of campus if we have anything else going on, maybe a little bit more rain or lightning if we could take that right now. Control room. Perfect, thank you. Yeah, skies are starting to clear up. You can see lots of water puddles still sticking around, but that will do it for us here tonight with your severe weather coverage at OU Nightly. Thank you for joining us, and we hope to see you back next time we have severe weather coverage.
Did we get any reports out of Max Westheimer Airport?
Nothing.
Nothing? Because I